Chapter 71. TL Hanguk. In turns, this is the field where the crops we're going to sell grow, meow. Theo led the interns, introduced them to Sejun's field, and went down to the cave storage. 4 of you interns, empty your bags. We're going to fill the bags with cherry tomatoes, meow. However, thump. Only one cat immediately emptied his bag at Theo's command. Intern Jeff, who moved first, will have his contract period shortened by 10 days, meow. Thank you. At Theo's words, Jeff bowed his head to Theo in thanks. Just by emptying the bag as he was told, the contract period was shortened by 10 days. What? 3 cats who had been biding their time began to quickly empty their bags and fill them with cherry tomatoes after hearing that the contract period could be shortened. I knew it. Sejun watched Theo from a distance and laughed. Theo was still naive and had no experience dealing with subordinates. Therefore, he was happily reducing the contract period whenever the interns, who had once tormented him, followed his words even a little. Although it could be argued that Theo already had wolf subordinates, but frankly, the wolves followed him on their own, and it wasn't an exaggeration to say they were looking after Theo. It was wise to set a maximum of 10 days for the reductions. Sejun thought it was a good idea for Theo to use the method of reducing the contract period as a means to control the cats. That way, the cats had no choice but to listen to Theo's words, even if only to reduce their contract periods. That's why he deliberately imposed a huge contract period of 10,000 days on the cats. 10,000 days was enough for Theo to generously cut down the contract period and still maintain it for half a year. However, intern Mark filled the bag with cherry tomatoes the fastest, meow. Intern Mark's contract period reduced by 10 days. Intern Eric just responded the loudest, meow. Intern Eric's contract period reduced by 10 days. The period for maintaining the contract might be shorter than Sejun thought. Theo was rewarding the interns for their behaviors, finding advantages in nanoscale details. After watching for about 3 hours, Sejun decided, this won't do. In that short time, most of the interns' contract periods had been reduced by about 300 days each. At this rate, it was only a matter of time before 10,000 days became 0. Maintaining the contract period for a week, let alone half a year, seemed challenging. President Theo, can we talk for a bit? Sejun, who was just going to watch, finally couldn't stand it and stepped forward. Okay, meow. At Sejun's call, Theo ran over quickly. What's up, meow? Is it time for Churu? Theo climbed onto Sejun's lap and asked. Yeah. Unable to say no to Theo's expectant eyes, Sejun first ripped open a Churu and handed it to Theo. Chomp, chomp, chomp. And then, from now on, Theo, only reduce the interns' contract periods by 1 day. Got it, meow. Sejun limited Theo's authority to reduce the contract periods to 1 day, and he agreed to consult with Sejun if Theo wanted to reduce it more. The next morning, President Park, we're off. Mr. Sejun, we're leaving. All right, take care. Sejun waved Theo and Elko off. The cats were divided into 2 groups. Oren and 3 other cats, who had filled their bags with cherry tomatoes, followed Theo down to the 38th floor of the tower. The remaining 5 cats, with their bags full of sturdy blade onion leaves and sea pea soup, moved to the 67th floor of the tower with the wolves. The faces of the interns moving to the 38th floor with Theo were bright, but the faces of the interns going to the 67th floor with the wolves were dark. It was because the interns who were separated from Theo were upset, as they were not able to get their contract periods reduced. As the 2 groups with different destinations left all at once, the sudden emptiness of the entire area made Sejun feel a sense of void. At that moment, Kriwung. Kyungi approached Sejun. Are you trying to console me? However, Kriwung, I want a snack. Contrary to Sejun's thoughts, Kyungi handed him a glass bottle filled with honey. Despite the fact that honey jelly enhanced abilities, Kyungi still preferred the taste of pure honey. I can't, you've gained too much weight, Sejun wanted to say, but he couldn't bring himself to say it to Kyungi. All right. Click. Sejun fetched Kyungi's honey bowl from the kitchen, opened the glass bottle, and poured in a dollop of honey. Slurp, slurp. Now I should get to work. Leaving Kyungi licking the honey from his bowl, Sejun started his morning farm work. Today was the day to harvest the corn he had planted previously. Sejun began to harvest the corn planted in the cave. Thud, thud, as he was picking the cobs covered in green leaves. Hug. He spotted a corn that was different from the others. Its leaves were red. Snap. When he plucked the red corn, you harvested exploding stamina corn. Your job experience increases slightly. Your proficiency in harvesting LV4 increases slightly. You gain 30 experience points. Exploding stamina corn. Just by its name, it felt like it would be used for combat. You have achieved the achievement of creating a new variety in the tower. The tower acknowledges your exclusive cultivation rights for the new variety. Without your permission, no one can cultivate the exploding stamina corn. Your job experience increases greatly. You have achieved the achievement of creating 3 new variety in the tower. Rumors about you spread in the Food Association. Food Association. The Food Association was an association that even Theo hadn't heard of before. Sejun decided to first examine the corn in his hand. Exploding stamina corn. Right arrow. This corn, grown inside the tower, inflates to dozens of times its original size when heat is applied, and its seeds explode. Right arrow. When consumed, it breaks down 30 g of body fat and increases stamina by 0.5 for 10 minutes. Right arrow. The effect can be stacked up to 10 times within an hour. Right arrow. When consumed, it makes your hair voluminous. Right arrow. Cultivator, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Right arrow. Expiration date, 90 days. Right arrow. Grade C. It inflates and explodes when heated. The explosion didn't seem to mean in terms of stamina. Sejun imagined the corn kernels swelling up. Then, what naturally came to mind was, no way is this popcorn. Sejun hurriedly stripped the red husk from the exploding stamina corn. The kernels inside were also red like the husk. Pop it. Sejun took off one red kernel. You have obtained a seed of exploding stamina corn. Your job experience has increased slightly. Your proficiency of seed sowing LV2 has increased slightly. And he had Flamey heat up the corn kernel. Be careful, you shouldn't burn it. Yes, master. A moment later, as Flamey began to heat the corn kernel with fire. Crack! With a popping sound, the red kernel's outer shell burst open, and the white pulp inside swelled and popped out. Here you go. When Flamey moved the flame away, warm popcorn fell onto Sejun's hand. Sprinkle. Sejun sprinkled some salt on the popcorn in his palm and cautiously put it in his mouth. Crunch. The crispy texture, the savory and slightly salty taste. Oh! Sejun was delighted by the taste, similar to the popcorn he used to buy outside. This isn't the time. The sooner he planted it, the sooner he could harvest it. Each kernel of corn he had now would become a bag of popcorn later. Thud thud. Sejun sowed 199 kernels of exploding stamina corn in the field. You have created a 50 square meter cornfield. You have gained 100 experience points. Grow well. Sejun cheered for the corn seeds planted in the field. In this way, the crop that would become the hope for bald people all over the world began to grow on the 99th floor of the tower. 244th day of being stranded, dawn. Thud thud. The branch scouts invaded again. Croon croon. At Sejun's request for a chance to grow, the mother crimson giant bear watched from a distance this time, revealing only her presence to the branch scouts. Guys, let's go. Squeaka. Kuyang. With a shout, Sejun, Black Rabbit and Kyungi rushed forward. Trot, trot. Thud, thud, thud. They all started from the same place, but Black Rabbit and Kyungi quickly surpassed Sejun, swiftly defeating the branch scouts. Sejun had the lowest agility stat among them. Boom. Whack. Splat. You have defeated a large branch scout of the corrupted Ent. You have gained 500 experience points. Sejun threw Great Warrior Yuka's throwing hand axe from behind and killed the enemy. That's a bit lame, retrieve. Sejun, who retrieved the axe, ran forward again. He then lit the torches he had set around the area for surveillance and threw them at the branch scouts. Whoosh! The fire started burning the enemies as it spread to the branch scouts. You have killed the small branch scout of the corrupted Ent. You have gained 25 experience points. You have leveled up. You have gained 1 bonus stat. Nice. Sejun leveled up and became level 28, while he was gaining experience by killing the branch scouts. Spit. Spit. A sticky substance flew towards the burning branch scout with the sound of spitting. Fizz. As soon as the sticky substance touched, the fire went out instantly. What? When Sejun looked towards the source of the sound. Swish, swish. Yellow and purple flowers, about 30 cm in size, were moving around, hanging on the large branch scout's body with vine-like arms and legs. Corrupted Ent's sticky flower attacker. Corrupted Ent's poisonous fog flower attacker. The yellow ones were sticky flowers, and the purple ones were poisonous fog flowers. Now it's flowers. Sejun became curious about the appearance of the corrupted Ent, which turned everything, including branches, flowers, and fruits, into monsters. Guys, fall back for now. When he saw the names of the enemies, he thought they would use a strategy to bind his feet with that sticky substance and kill him with poisonous fog. However, squeak! The Black Rabbit skillfully avoided the sticky substance with fast speed, and Kung! Kyungi did not stop moving even after being hit by the sticky substance. There was no problem at all. Oh right, only I am weak, just me. Sejun confirmed his combat power ranking again, and threw his axe to focus on killing the poisonous fog flower attacker, so that the Black Rabbit and Kyungi could fight well. Boom! Thud! You have killed the corrupted Ent's poisonous fog flower attacker. You have gained 1,500 experience points. The experience points were decent. That's right, I was always a long-range fighter. While Sejun was comforting himself and fighting. Rumble, rumble. The ground began to shake. Huh? Sejun saw Mother Crimson Giant Bear. Why is she moving? Roar. Shake, shake. As if to say it's not her, Mother Crimson Giant Bear shook her head and pointed to the west. What is it? As Sejun looked where the Mother Crimson Giant Bear was pointing. Huh? He saw a giant tree, about 70 meters tall, slowly approaching from a distance. Rumble, rumble. Corrupted Ent that has absorbed the energy of the blue moon. He had overlooked that the corrupted Ent could absorb the energy of the blue moon, just as Flamey had grown by absorbing the energy of the blue moon. The corrupted Ent was so thick that even the huge Mother Crimson Giant Bear couldn't wrap her arms around it, and it was much taller. Moreover, with every movement of the corrupted Ent, numerous monsters fell from its body. Can we win? While Sejun was considering a strategy for dealing with the corrupted Ent. Me help. A low voice was heard in Sejun's ear. Huh, who is it? Sejun was looking around for the owner of the voice. Then, flap, flap. The black dragon statue, which should be on the fountain, appeared in front of Sejun, its red eyes glowing. I am the great black dragon Anton Pratani. I am Aileen's father. Aileen's father? Yes, we don't have time, so let's talk later. After finishing the conversation, the black dragon statue hurriedly flew towards the corrupted Ent. And then, roar! A black breath shot from the mouth of the black dragon statue, flew towards the corrupted Ent. Chapter 72. TL Hanguk, you son of a Park Sejun. When Kaiser, blinded by jealousy over his granddaughter, fired a water cannon at Sejun using the Black Dragon statue installed at the fountain for Aileen's 100th anniversary. Father, please hold. Anton, who had higher control over the Black Dragon statue, took control of the statue from Kaiser. Cough, cough. Kaiser, belatedly realizing he'd made a scene due to his anger, cleared his throat awkwardly. Let's observe what kind of person this human named Park Sejun is. Why bother? This human named Park Sejun is our hope to fix Aileen's dragon heart. We need to know what kind of person he is. Understood. They continued to watch Sejun through the Black Dragon statue. And they discovered something interesting. What's with this guy? Despite being incredibly weak, he was managing various monsters with crops he farmed. But it was hard to say he was bad when the monsters he managed seemed so happy. And the crops with various effects. The improvement in Aileen's dragon heart condition was thanks to the crops. Humph, this guy has some skills. Kaiser, who had been watching Sejun with a stern look, began to acknowledge him a bit. So while they were watching through the Black Dragon statue for several days, they saw the corrupted Ents branch scout approaching Sejun's farm. It seems the corrupted Ents have spread again. Tusk, just like weeds. The corrupted Ents were one of the nuisances on the 99th floor that bothered the Black Dragons. If they didn't regularly clear them out, they would proliferate massively and lead to the extinction of other monsters. From the Black Dragon's perspective, it would be easier to eradicate the corrupted Ents completely, but it was impossible due to the tower administrator's duty to not deliberately cause the extinction of creatures settled in the tower. Still, the human was successfully protecting the farm with the help of the monsters. Then, it's the one that absorbed the energy of the blue moon. That one will be difficult. A corrupted Ent that has absorbed the energy of the blue moon, which is born with a slim chance, was a monster difficult to kill by anyone other than a black dragon. We have to use that. It wasn't installed for this purpose. Even though Kaiser grumbled, he didn't oppose the idea of helping Sejun. Activate the Black Dragon statue. With Anton's command, the red magic stone embedded in the eyes of the Black Dragon statue lit up, and the statue began to move as if it were alive. It was a skill engraved in the red magic stone by Anton, using high-level magic in case Aileen faced danger. Thus Anton, who used the Black Dragon statue to defeat the corrupted Ent, flew back to Sejun and started a conversation. After observing Sejun for several days, Anton judged him to be a trustworthy human. Boom! With a gigantic mushroom cloud, the massive corrupted Ent that had absorbed the energy of the blue moon evaporated. The last hit should have been mine. Although he wouldn't be able to level up much due to his level 30 job quest, but it was still a bit regrettable. As Sejun was admiring the mushroom cloud created by Anton with regret. Flap, flap. The Black Dragon statue moved its wings and flew towards him. Thank you for your help, Aileen's father. Just call me Anton. Yes. The help just now is nothing compared to how you saved my daughter. Thank you for saving Aileen. Yes. Sejun suddenly felt like he was meeting his girlfriend's parents, although he'd never had a girlfriend. Sejun was in a similar situation to Theo, he just didn't show it. Like to have your help in the future. Help, are you referring to healing Aileen's dragon heart? That's part of it, but I would also like you to manage the Black Tower on behalf of Aileen. The Black Tower had not been properly managed because Aileen could not leave her administrator area. Additionally, Kaiser, who usually took care of urgent matters every 10 years, couldn't do so this time. As time passed, various problems would begin to occur on different floors. This was a concern for both Kaiser and Anton. Then, what's that? Red locusts, when did they infiltrate? They, who didn't know that red locusts had invaded the Black Tower, were greatly surprised to see the wolves carrying full carts of red locust corpses. Red locusts, once their numbers began to increase, were unstoppable. This was one of the key reasons the tower was built. Fortunately, they were relieved to hear from the wolves in Sejun that they were containing the spread of the red locusts that had infiltrated the 67th floor of the tower. They believed that Sejun had the ability to solve some of the tower's problems. Thinking about it, he has the ability to move the monsters of the 99th floor of the tower, which would solve most of the problems. Therefore, Anton decided to assign Sejun the role of acting administrator of the tower on behalf of Aileen. Managing the Black Tower. Yes, it won't be too hard. We'll support you. Wei. Yes, Park Sejun, I am Kaiser Pratani, Aileen's grandfather. Suddenly, a boisterous voice came from the Black Dragon statue. Hello, Mr. Kaiser, I'm Park Sejun. Well, at least you know your manners. Kaiser, who had previously disliked Sejun, was a little appeased by Sejun's 90-degree bow. But I can't leave this floor. There's always a way. Really? Indeed, for now, put the magical cherry tomato into the mouth of the Black Dragon statue. What? It has its uses. I'm not asking because I want to eat it. Feeling somewhat guilty, Kaiser became very angry. He definitely was Aileen's grandfather, insisting first before seeing the result. Understood. When Sejun picked a few tomatoes and put them into the mouth of the Black Dragon statue. Flash. The tomatoes disappeared with a flash of light. And then, we need to recharge our energy for now, so let's talk again later. Hurry to where the corrupted ent died. There should be something helpful for someone weak like you. Flap, flap. The Black Dragon statue left those words and flew back up to the fountain again and started spitting out water. Thud, thud. Sejun was riding on the back of Mother Crimson Giant Bear with the Black Rabbit and Kyungi, heading towards the place where the corrupted ent had died. What's supposed to be there? Roar. There's a bead that makes you stronger near where the corrupted ent died. Mother Crimson Giant Bear answered his curiosity. A bead that makes you stronger when eaten. Roar, roar. Yes, it's a blue bead. While they were talking, they arrived at the place where the corrupted ent had died. And in the middle of the giant crater, there was one fist-sized blue bead and a branch about 10 meters long, about as thick as a log. Sejun picked up the blue bead and the branch. You have acquired the enhanced seed of the corrupted ent. You have acquired the enhanced branch of the corrupted ent. Well, Sejun, delighted by the message, first looked at the options of the seed. Enhanced seed of the corrupted ent. Right arrow, it's a seed of the corrupted ent that has absorbed the energy of the blue moon. Right arrow, the seed has been enhanced by the energy of the blue moon. Right arrow, when consumed, all stats increase permanently by 10. Right arrow, if left on the ground, the seed will sprout and grow into a powerful corrupted ent. Right arrow, expiration date, 100 years. Right arrow, grade, A. Consuming it increases all stats permanently by 10. It was quite a good option. Is this what he meant? It seemed that what Kaiser had referred to as something helpful was this seed. However, the idea of planting the seed, which would multiply by dozens at the least when sown, came to Sejun's mind before the idea of eating it. He was a tower farmer who believed in the truth of multiplication. What if I get Flamey to give it a flame of purification buff here? Even though it was corrupted, purification might be possible. If not, he could eat it then. The expiration date was long, so there was no need to worry about spoilage. I'll keep it for now. So Sejun put the seed in his pocket and looked at the options of the branch. Enhanced branch of the corrupted ent. Right arrow, it's a branch of the corrupted ent that has absorbed the energy of the blue moon. Right arrow, the hardness of the branch has been greatly enhanced by the energy of the blue moon. Right arrow, if mana is inserted, its size can be adjusted at will, making it a good material for a transforming weapon. Right arrow usage restrictions. LV 35 or higher, strength 50 or higher, magic power 30 or higher. Right arrow grade, A. I can't use it. Sejun did not meet all the usage restrictions. It was demanding for a mere branch. Then, Kei Kwang, Dad, I want to use that. Kyungi, who had always envied the black rabbit's hammer, coveted the enhanced branch of the corrupted ent. Okay, you can use it for now. Kei Kwang. Kyungi was delighted to receive the branch. After collecting the items and returning home. Squeak, squeak. The rabbits were up, preparing for the morning farming. It's a bit tricky. After a moment of contemplation, Sejun decided to start the morning farming with the rabbits. Tower's 75th floor shopping district. Hurry up and follow Meow. Yes. Oh, intern Jeff, your answer is quite confident, Meow. I'm reducing your contract period by 1 day, Meow. Thank you. Theo did not immediately go to the 38th floor of the tower, but led his group to the headquarters of the Wandering Merchant Association. The reason was to apply for the use of the express merchant route. An intermediate wandering merchant is eligible to apply for the express merchant route if they have the application fee of 10,000 tower coins. While it typically takes about a day to move 10 floors using the general merchant route, it's possible to do so in half a day using the express merchant route. So Theo, who wanted to quickly finish the trade and return to Sejun's lap, always wanted to use the express merchant route but couldn't apply due to lack of money. But this time, receiving 20,000 tower coins as a trade incentive from Sejun, Theo was finally able to apply for the use of the express merchant route. We received 10,000 tower coins. Intermediate wandering merchant Theo, you can now use the express merchant route. Here's your new pass. An employee of the Wandering Merchant Association handed Theo a silver pass. Thank you, Meow. Pew Hut. Finally, I can use the express merchant route too, Meow. Just as Theo received the new pass and was about to walk out of the building of the Wandering Merchant Association with pride. Yona passed by, humming a tune. Iona, nice to see you, Meow. Representative Theo, hello. They chatted briefly. Are you heading down to the lower floors, Representative Theo? No, Meow. I'm going to Grainier Village, Meow. Oh, really? That's great. I'm also going to Grainier Village. Let's go together. Yona climbed onto the head of Elka, who was waiting outside, excited. Originally, Theo intended to quickly descend to the 38th floor of the tower through the express merchant route, but I have an urgent message to deliver to my father. In exchange, I'll pay you 1,000 tower coins to take me to Grainier Village. Deal, let's go, Meow. Theo changed the destination to Grainier Village due to Oren's proposal. More than the money, he was eager to show his successful self to his hometown cats. Pew Hut, I'll show them my success, Meow. Representative Theo, who's this? Oren looked at Iona and asked. This is Iona, Meow. We're going to Grainier Village together, Meow. Let's get moving, Meow. With Theo's shout, the group set off. Darn it. Oren's face briefly stiffened at the addition of a new member. However, it's just a hamster. Oren quickly caught up with Theo, wearing a sly smile. Chapter 73, It's Time Now. TL Hanguk. Day 245 of being stranded. While Sejun was harvesting cherry tomatoes. Seed shop is now open. Your seed shop level is ordinary. 4 types of seeds to be sold today are randomly displayed. At your current grade, you can purchase as many seeds as you want within the limit of 5 tower coins. The seed shop opened, and the seeds available for purchase today were displayed. 50 black bean seeds, 5 tower coins. 100 radish seeds, 1 tower coin. 25 sweet pumpkin seeds, 5 tower coins. 500 onion seeds, 5 tower coins. What? The prices of the seeds had risen significantly since the last time he had seen them. Previously, 100 radish seeds were definitely 0.1 tower coins, but now the price had increased tenfold to 1 tower coin for 100 seeds. Is this because of the increase in food prices? The wolves brought various news from the 67th floor of the tower. One of them was that food prices in the tower were skyrocketing due to the red locusts. At first, it didn't make sense. The red locusts caused an abundance of food, so how could that lead to an increase in prices? But it made sense when he thought about a few months from now. Even if plants start growing now, it will take several months before they can be eaten. But currently, the 67th floor of the tower was practically a wasteland. This meant that an entire floor of the tower had completely stopped food production. Furthermore, the news of the red locusts had caused other floors of the tower that had experienced a great famine 100 years ago to hoard food in large quantities. Moreover, the price of food had sharply risen as the landowner of the 55th floor, the largest granary of the Black Tower grid, did not release the food. Remembering how the wolves wagged their tails and looked at him with admiration, he felt proud. But what should I buy? Sejun was considering the seeds. The price was tricky. If he bought 2, it would inevitably exceed 5 tower coins, so he could only buy 1. After much deliberation, Sejun decided to buy onions. Onions remove the bad smell and provide sweetness, making them suitable for most dishes. And recently, due to limited ingredients, the rabbits had been scorning his cooking. But he felt that with these onions, he could restore his pride. I'll show those rabbit bastards what real taste is. Sejun purchased the onions, speaking like a villain. You have purchased 500 onion seeds. A total of 5 tower coins have been deducted from Mr. Park Sejun's seed bank account. You have earned 50 seed shop loyalty points. You now have a total of 106 seed shop loyalty points. Ching! A small leather pouch filled with onion seeds appeared in Sejun's hand. Thank you for using the seed shop. You can use seed shop LV2 again after 30 days. Sejun planted the 500 onion seeds in the remaining field in the cave and started harvesting cherry tomatoes again. Then, the tower's administrator asks what conversation you had with their grandfather and father. For the first time since the blue moon, Aileen initiated a conversation. I slept well. Aileen, who had been roaring and working hard during the blue moon, slept soundly for a few days due to the aftereffects of the Dragon Heart's rampage and woke up stretching energetically. I slept too much. What's that interesting human doing? Summon crystal orb. To look at Sejun, Aileen summoned her crystal orb. You have over 1,000 unread notifications. Please manage your notifications. Again, The notifications piled up in the crystal orb for days, obstructing Aileen's view. Aileen quickly scrolled through the notifications. A few of them were in red, but she figured they were notifications from the 67th floor of the tower. With the notifications cleared and the crystal orb clean, Aileen looked through the farm to find Sejun. The farm had expanded so much that she had to search like this now. It has expanded more in just a few days. As Aileen was scanning the farm to find Sejun, she saw Kyungi swinging a branch. The branch was not ordinary as it shrank and expanded. What's that? When Aileen asked Kyungi, the Crimson Giant Honey Bear says it's a corrupt Ent's branch that absorbed the energy of the blue moon. A corrupted Ent that absorbed the energy of the blue moon. It's an extremely strong creature. Where did that come from? The Crimson Giant Honey Bear proudly says that Daddy gave it. The interesting human. It was clear that something had happened while she was asleep. Aileen asked the Crimson Giant Honey Bear mother for more details. What? The statue of the fountain moved. They said they were my grandfather and father. She found out that her grandfather and father had spoken to Sejun through the black dragon statue. What did you talk about with my grandfather and father? Tower Farmer Park Sejun says that Aileen's father and grandfather asked him to continue taking good care of Aileen and help manage the tower. They asked him to take good care of me. Aileen was surprised by Sejun's words. They asked him to take care of her. Did I get permission to get married? Tower Farmer Park Sejun vehemently denies it by waving his hand. Tower farmer Park Sejun quickly corrects his words, saying that asking him to take good care of her meant to continue helping with Aileen's Dragonheart treatment in the future. However, Kahihi, then just wait for exactly 300 years. Aileen didn't look at Sejun's message, as she was indulging in her own imagination. When he arrived at the 75th floor of the tower following Theo, Oren remembered what his father had said before he left Grainier village. He mentioned that the entire Black Wolf tribe would stay in the village for about a month to hunt something, starting in 5 days. It was due to a request from the Wizards Association. The Black Wolf tribe mercenaries were beings from the 89th floor of the tower. They were stronger wolves than the Silver Wolf tribe on the 85th floor. That's why he suggested to Theo to go to Grainier village. Oren thought that hearing just 3 Black Wolf tribe members would be enough to suppress Theo and the Silver Wolf tribe wolves, and snatch the contract. And once I snatch the contract, he planned to use the contract nullification potion at home to invalidate the contract. When that time comes, Theo, I won't leave you alone. While Oren was vowing revenge, Theo and his party arrived at the entrance of the Grainier village. I will go home first to deliver the news to my father and prepare to welcome Representative Theo. Sounds good, Meow. Upon hearing that Oren would prepare to welcome him, Theo happily agreed. Grrr. Elka watched Oren rush home and quietly growled. It seemed Theo hadn't noticed yet, but Oren's schemes were clearly visible to Elka. Throughout the journey to Grainier village, watching Oren glare at Theo, it was more amazing that Theo didn't notice. However, Elka stayed silent. In fact, she was thankful if Oren plotted something. Then I can get more money for his life. Elka, influenced by Sejun and Theo, connected everything to money. But, Kaiwat. Yona hummed as she watched Oren walk away, making Elka a little uneasy. Then, let's go, Meow. Theo confidently entered the village. Almost a year after his fleeing from the village at night, it was a homecoming for Theo. However, seeing a lifeless village, unlike when he left, Theo was puzzled. Why is everyone like this, Meow? The cats looked emaciated as if they had starved for days, and they seemed to lack energy. Most of them responded lukewarmly or not at all to seeing Theo. He couldn't announce his glorious return to the village like this. What, Meow? Why do the cats lack energy, Meow? Intern Jeff, what happened to the Grainier village, Meow? Theo grabbed Jeff's collar and asked. Well, it wasn't like this when I left. From the looks of Jeff and other cats, they seemed to have no idea. Instead, their eyes showed anxiety and worry. It was because of their families. Go home and find out what's happening, Meow. Theo, who had become soft-hearted, sent the interns home. Thank you, Representative Theo. If you run away, I will double the contract period, Meow. Yes. And take this too, Meow. Theo took out grilled fish from his bag and distributed it to the interns. Thank you. The cats gratefully and quickly ran home at Theo's consideration. And then Theo entered his favorite grilled fish shop. Welcomes Theo, Meow. Boss, it's been a while, Meow, but why is the village like this, Meow? Theo asked the fish shop owner. Asking the interns to find out what happened was just an excuse. He was a tsundere cat, Theo. Recently, frog-like monsters have appeared in Zenka Lake, so we can't even get a glimpse of the fish, Meow. Frog-like monsters, Meow. That's right, Meow, so all the village cats are starving now, Meow. According to the grilled fish shop owner, about 70% of the fish that the cats in Grainier village eat came from Zenka Lake. But a week ago, the progs, frog-like monsters, appeared and now no fish can be caught. For now, eat this, Meow. Theo had a few instances where he got fish from the grilled fish shop owner when he was out of money. Wishing to repay this kindness, he handed over 50 grilled fish and then stepped outside. Let's head to Oren's house first, Meow. Theo took the remaining party members and headed to Oren's house. Father, Oren, why are you so late? Oren's father, Israel, greeted Oren and asked. Well, Oren twisted the story of being deceived by Scaram to hide his wrongdoing. He said that he was threatened by Theo, who took all his money and made him sign a contract to work for him for 10,000 days. What? Theo hired Silver Wolf Tribe mercenaries to threaten you and make you sign a contract? Yes, Theo will be here soon. Please ask the Black Wolf Tribe to help get the contract back from Theo. All right, just trust me. Actually, we are hosting Hedgel, the chief of the Black Wolf Tribe, at our home. If I ask him, he'll help us. With that, Israel led Oren to the room where Hedgel was staying. Fine, I can handle 3 members of the Silver Wolf Tribe alone. Hedgel, who had been indebted during his stay here, willingly agreed to Israel's request. Then, Oren, where are you, meow? Theo arrived at Oren's house. I have a good idea. If you act after I've taken action, Hedgel, you will be able to suppress them more comfortably. There's no need for that, but fine. Hedgel was a bit reluctant at Oren's confident words, but as Oren was the son of his host, he agreed for the time being. Let's go. Understood. Hedgel followed Israel and Oren towards where Theo's party was. And then, everyone don't move, or this hamster dies. Hedgel, it's time now. As Oren approached Theo, he suddenly grabbed Yona, who was on Elka's head, threatened her with his claw, and shouted at Hedgel. Hey, you crazy guy. Hedgel was taken aback to see Oren threatening Yona, the chairman of the Wizards Association and his employer, with his claw. TL notes. To check the difference between onions and green onions, you can search on Google. They are different. Green onions have a slender white base that gradually transitions into long green stalks, while onions develop the large bulb that we are familiar with. Chapter 74. TL Hanguk. Bang. Mom, I'm home. Bill, one of the interns in the distribution department of Sejun's farm, roughly opened his home door and shouted, Bill, you're just now home. Bill's mother, sitting on the sofa, greeted him in a lifeless voice. Mom, why have you become so thin? Bill was shocked to see his mother looking as gaunt as the other people on the street. Here, eat this for now. Bill took out the grilled fish that Theo had given him and handed it to his mother. Bill, what is this? You didn't steal it from somewhere, did you? Despite not being able to take her eyes off the grilled fish, Bill's mother first asked whether her son had stolen it from somewhere. No, Mom, I got a job. Representative Theo gave me the grilled fish. You can eat it. Really? Yes. When her son, who had been rotting inside following Oren around every day, told her he had found a job, Bill's mother was moved. Mom, I just stopped by. I'm going back. Bill felt a sense of pride at his mother's happiness and returned to Theo with a light step. And then, oh my, Dagon's mother, our Bill got a job and brought grilled fish. Bill's mother, having regained her energy after eating the grilled fish, began to brag about Bill's employment to the other neighborhood mothers. And because of that, rumors spread that you could get grilled fish if you worked under Representative Theo, and cats wanting to work under Theo began to appear. The Black Wolf Tribe's chief Hedgel was here. Seeing a 5 m tall black wolf with 3 long claw marks on his left face coming out with Oren, Elka realized that he had been too off guard. If it weren't for Chairman Iona, we could have been in big trouble. However, just as he failed to predict the enemy's power, the enemy also failed to accurately grasp their power. It was clear from Hedgel's hardened face whether he recognized Iona. Then, Representative Theo. While pretending to approach Theo, Oren tried to snatch Iona, who was sitting on Elka's head. Elka quickly tried to subdue Oren as she had been waiting for this situation, but don't stop him. A command from an angry Iona came through. So that rumor was true. Iona hated being underestimated because she was small. She felt that Oren targeted her because she was the smallest among their group. Being ignorant can be brave, and Oren had provoked the fiercest beast he should never have provoked. She was the worst and strongest hostage. As Oren threatened her by pointing his claws at Iona's neck. Oren, what are you doing, meow? Put Iona down right now, meow. Representative Theo, it's okay. Meow. Just watch from here. As Theo tried to stop Oren, Elka quickly carried him on his back and retreated. And then, Kaiwo Hegel, what is this? Surely a freelance mercenary isn't trying to kill their client. Yona, ignoring Oren's claw, calmly asked Hegel. She made a very cute sound, Kaiwo, but Hegel froze upon hearing it. Damn it, Lady Yona has unleashed her wrathful Kaiwo. La Lady Yona, you're misunderstanding. How could you? Let Lady Yona go immediately. Hegel, brought back to his senses by Yona's words, responded and started shouting at Oren. Currently, Yona was in the first stage of her furious Kaiwo. He had to calm her down at all costs. If she got more angry and made the Kaiwo sound 3 times, they would know why she was known as the destructive wizard. Of course, Hegel didn't want to see that at all. Those who had worked with Yona knew very well. Kaiwo was a gauge to measure Yona's anger. Level 1 of Wrathful Kaiwo. When Yona makes the Kaiwo sound, at least one building is destroyed. Level 2 of Wrathful Kaiwo. When Yona makes the Kaiwo sound, at least a small village is destroyed. Level 3 of Wrathful Kaiwo. When Yona makes the Kaiwo sound, at least one city is destroyed. And it was said that there was a final stage of Wrathful Kaiwo, but no one who had heard it had survived, so no one knew what it sounded like. Despite Hegel's shouting, Oren didn't move. No, he couldn't move. He was already under Yona's paralysis spell. Mr. Hegel, before we talk about right and wrong, shall we first hear about the result of the mission? About that, Lady Yona, I apologize. We failed. The reason Hegel came here was to subjugate the eggs of the Prague Queen, who lays eggs once a year. If the Pragues started to hatch, the aquatic life around them would suffer almost extinction-level damage, hence the annual subjugation. The Prague Queen goes to sleep after laying eggs, so it was a relatively easy mission to go into the underwater cave at the bottom of the Zenka Lake and deal with the eggs. However, when Hegel and his wolves opened the massive rock, blocking the cave entrance, ribbit, 5,000 hungry Pragues leaped out from the cave. For some reason, the Pragues had hatched from their eggs earlier than expected. Luckily, about half of them were killed on the spot, but the remaining 2,500 Pragues evaded the wolves and escaped into the Zenka Lake. Since then, the Pragues had grown by catching and eating fish in Zenka Lake, while the Black Wolf tribe had been trying to hunt them while preventing them from hunting. However, the swimming skills of the wolves, who are not familiar with the water, couldn't match the speed of the Pragues moving in the water, so they were practically making no progress. In this situation where the mission was not going well, Hegel found himself in a real bind as he ended up on the side threatening Iona's life, whether he intended it or not. Even if Iona used this as an excuse to kill all of the Black Wolf tribe, they couldn't complain. What this? She's a client. Israel was taken aback by the fact that the hamster Oren had captured was Hegel's client. Hegel had said he came here on the request of the Wizards Association chairman. So that tiny hamster is the chairman of the Wizards Association. Come to think of it, I had heard rumors that the chairman of the Wizards Association was a hamster. Oren, this damned guy. Thud. Lady Yona, I apologize. I'll do anything, so please spare my son and me. Israel knelt down, touched his forehead to the ground, and cried out. His instincts were telling him that this was a dire situation where he could die if he made any more fuss. Kaiwo, it's too late now. Rumble. Yona pulled out the staff of disaster, intending to blow away Israel and Oren along with their house. Then, Yona, wait a second, meow. Theo stopped Yona. Kaiwo, what? Yona's anger level rose due to Theo's interruption. But, you can't destroy this place, meow. President Park ordered something, meow. Regardless of Yona's anger, Theo had to carry out Sejun's instructions to get 3 items from Oren's house. Sejun, okay, what should I do? Upon hearing Sejun's order, Yona quickly canceled her magic and started helping Theo. What is he doing? Hegel was shocked to see the cat stopping Yona. It only provoked Yona's anger. And then, oh my God, it's the level 2 of Wrathful Kaiwo. Just as Hegel feared, Iona's rage gauge had risen. Hegel was in despair as Iona made the Kaiwo Kaiwo sound. Now at least a small village would be destroyed. And that probably includes our Black Wolf tribe. Just when Hegel was almost certain he was going to die. Huh. Iona easily calmed her anger at the words of the cat named Theo. What's with that cat? How could it so easily quell the anger of Iona, the great destructive wizard? Quietly, who's that cat, Theo? Hegel approached Elka and asked. Representative Theo is a direct subordinate of the Great Black Dragon. What? A direct subordinate of the Great Black Dragon? Thud. Representative Theo, I'm Hegel of the Black Wolf tribe. Please accept me as your subordinate. As soon as he heard Elka's words, Hegel prostrated himself in front of Theo. The Black Wolf tribe had been worshipping the Great Black Dragon, which had the same color as them since long ago. Becoming a subordinate of a direct subordinate of such a great black dragon was the greatest honor for the Black Wolf tribe. Okay, meow, then stamp here, meow. Theo, who never rejects subordinates and firmly holds on to those leaving, handed over a contract. Yes. Press. Hegel stamped the contract with his paw. Thanks to Oren's scheme, Theo was able to take Hegel, the leader of the Black Wolf tribe, and the entire Black Wolf tribe as his subordinates. Sure to mention the green alarm, it's really important. Yes, Aileen, Anton says the green alarm is very important, got it. The tower's administrator says it understands. The tower's administrator is asking what a green alarm is. Aileen is asking what a green alarm is. Green alarm is the alert that appears in the tower when a monster at risk of extinction appears. Yes, Aileen. Sejun was relaying messages between Anton and Aileen, receiving training as a tower administrator together. After about an hour of administrator training, Sejun came down to the cave for tomato harvesting. Master, I can use the flame again. Seeing Sejun descend into the cave, Flamey waved its green leaves and cheerfully exclaimed. Really? Then use the flame of purification here. Sejun took out a blue bead from his pocket. It was a corrupted Ent's enhanced seed. Yes, I up. With Flamey's cheer, one of Flamey's leaves turned white, and a white flame seeped into the corrupted Ent's enhanced seed. Oh! Fortunately, the effect was as Sejun anticipated. The name of the seed changed. Corrupted Ent's enhanced seed, purification rate 1%. Flamey, good job. Heady. Flames blushed at Sejun's praise, pretending to scratch its head with its leaves. Whoosh! Sejun put the corrupted Ent's enhanced seed back in his pocket. As he approached the tomato field, the tower's administrator says a green alarm has appeared. Aileen sent Sejun a message that a green alarm had appeared. And then, the tower's administrator appoints you as the tower's mid-level administrator to prevent the extinction of the blue carp in the Zenka Lake on the 75th floor of the tower. Aileen began handling the green alarm as she had learned from her father. You have obtained the mark of the tower's mid-level administrator. A black dragon tattoo appeared on Sejun's hand. You will be moved to Zenka Lake on the 75th floor of the tower in 30 seconds. You can bring your subordinates with you. Please designate who to bring. Sejun chose all of his subordinates, including MP their Crimson Giant Bear, Kyungi, Black Rabbit, and the other Black Minotaurs. As he was uncertain about where he was going, he intended to bring as many as possible for safety. However, the tower's administrator's mana is insufficient. Subordinates will be automatically selected within the limit of the tower's administrator's mana. Squeak. Kryuang. On the left shoulder of the Black Rabbit and Kyungi, the numbers 1 and 2 appeared. It was a relief that at least 2 were there. Shortly after, you will be moved to Zenka Lake on the 75th floor of the tower. Your activities cannot exceed the boundaries of Zenka Lake. Sejun, Black Rabbit, and Kyungi disappeared. On the 246th day of being stranded, for the first time since Sejun had been stranded, he left the 99th floor of the tower. Chapter 75. TL Hanguk. Inside a warehouse full of treasures collected by Israel throughout his lifetime. Swoosh. Theo was scanning the items in the warehouse with his front paw. Representative Theo, what are you doing? Yona asked, watching Theo moving his front paw around. I'm looking for something that attracts me, meow. Attracts you? That's right, meow. I'm searching for an item that my front paw is attracted to, meow. Yona remembered what Sejun had told her about Theo's golden front paw. And then, Humph, it's just an intuition after all. It's no match for my high-dimensional magic. Feeling jealous of Theo receiving Sejun's praises, Iona's competitive spirit as a wizard was aroused. Representative Theo, let's have a contest. What kind of contest, meow? The one who finds a higher grade item wins. All right, meow. Even though his opponent was the chairman of the Wizards Association, Theo was not intimidated at all. The source of Theo's confidence was not himself, but Sejun. Pew hut, the victory will be mine, meow, because Park Sejun said my front paw is amazing, meow. And so, the treasure hunting competition between Theo and Iona began. Tower 75th floor, Zenka Lake. Swoosh. You have arrived at the Zenka Lake on the 75th floor of the tower. From now on, find and eliminate the cause that threatens the extinction of the blue carp. Sejun, Black Rabbit, and Kyungi appeared. Wow, it's a different floor. Squeaka. Kryuang. Neither Sejun, Black Rabbit, nor Kyungi were paying any attention to their mission. All three of them were newbies who had just left the 99th floor of the tower for the first time. Everything was fascinating to them. What's this? Sejun began to examine the grass around the lake. Squeaka. Kryuang. The Black Rabbit and Kyungi, intrigued by the wide, blue lake they had never seen before, jumped right into the lake. While Sejun was strolling around the lake and exploring the plants, he noticed a plant with a very familiar appearance. A fruit shaped like a giant bell in the middle of widespread leaves, and a green crown growing above it. It was a pineapple. Hehe, why is there a pineapple here? Snip. Sejun, excited, drew his dagger and cut the pineapple. And then, thud, he removed the crown and stored it in his bag. He planned to plant the crown back at the 99th floor of the tower, which would allow him to grow more pineapples. Suguk. He quartered the pineapple and took a bite from one of the slices. He. Initially, the sour taste sent shivers down his spine, but the more he chewed on the pulp, the less sour it became and the sweetness intensified. Wow, it's delicious. Sejun, who had quickly devoured a whole pineapple, rose from his seat in admiration. He got up to count how many pineapples were there. However, there are only 12 in total. There weren't that many. Snip, snip. Sejun harvested all the pineapples first. And while he was enjoying the second pineapple, thud, thud, something was approaching from behind Sejun. Huh. As Sejun turned around, ribbit, ribbit. A 3-meter-tall upright walking frog was drooling at the sight of Sejun. Prog. Why is a frog walking on 2 feet, while Sejun was in a state of confusion? Ribbit. Swish. Prog opened its mouth and attacked Sejun with its tongue. Humph, even though I may not look like it, I've trained at the 99th floor of the tower. Sejun dodged Prog's tongue and threw his hand axe at Prog. Thunk. The hand axe hit Prog right in the head. You have defeated the Prog. You gained 500 experience points. HMPH, this is too easy for me, retrieve. Although he already had a considerable advantage dealing with an aquatic monster on land, Sejun was still proud of himself. When Sejun was feeling triumphant, Subordinate 1 has defeated the Prog. Subordinate 2 has defeated the Prog. Black Rabbit and Kyungi were also fighting underwater. You found one cause of the extinction of the blue carps in Zenka Lake on the 75th floor. A mid-level administrator quest has been triggered. Mid-level administrator quest. Kill all 2291 progs in Zenka Lake. Prog 02291. Reward 10,000 experience points, 1,000 tower coins. Failure. You cannot return to the original location until the quest is completed. Are there over 2,000 of these frogs? Sejun hurried to Zenka Lake, plunged his face into the water, and examined the underwater scene. Underwater, he could see Black Rabbit and Kyungi energetically chasing fleeing progs. The pair, trained in the pond, were great swimmers, but progs were aquatic creatures. Despite their numbers, it took a lot of effort to hunt down a single prog. When will they ever catch them all? While watching the battle between Black Rabbit and Kyungi. But what do these guys taste like? Suddenly, Sejun was curious about the taste of prog meat. So he started a fire and began preparing a dish using prog meat. When Theo and Iona were having a contest in the warehouse, a black wolf, who had been observing Zenka Lake, ran towards them. Chief Hegel, we have a big problem. What is it? Hegel, who had already had a near-death experience with Iona, wasn't particularly interested in his subordinate's report. There are some suspicious guys appearing in Zenka Lake. Suspicious guys? Yes, they're roasting progs. What? They're roasting progs? Yes, and it tastes so good, slurp. The black wolf reported, relishing the memory of the taste. Taste? What are you talking about? Did you eat prog meat? He seemed to think his subordinate was out of his mind. Prog meat was poisonous and inedible. Let's just go. The wolf, eager to return to Zenka Lake, urged Hegel. Elka, I'll be back from Zenka Lake soon. Please let Representative Theo know. Yes, understood. Hegel hurriedly ran towards Zenka Lake. Here it is, Mr. Sejun. The wolves that came out of the water dragged the fainted progs by their necks to Sejun. Thanks. Thud thud. You have defeated the prog. You have gained 500 experience points. You have defeated the prog. You have gained 500 experience points. Sejun slaughtered 2 progs with his hand axe and handed the progs' skewers to the wolves. Chew chew. It's really chewy. It's delicious. The wolves ate the food and went back into the water. An hour earlier. Curious about the taste of prog, Sejun started roasting the prog meat, which he prepared by wrapping it around a detoxifying green onion. For safety, Sejun always brought detoxifying green onions, just like a regular medicine, because he didn't know what kind of poison might be in the ingredients. When the dish was ready, you have achieved the achievement of making prog green onion rolls for the first time in the tower. The recipe for prog green onion rolls is registered in Cooking LV. 3. Your proficiency in Cooking LV. 3 increases significantly. Your proficiency in Cooking LV. 3 is filled and the level increases. Sejun's cooking level increased. And special effect. Comfortable underwater movement is added to prog green onion rolls due to the effect of Cooking LV. 4. Special effect. A special effect was added to the dish. It was new information added as the cooking level reached 4. Sejun checked the completed dish. Prog green onion rolls. Right arrow roasted detoxifying green onions wrapped in prog meat. Right arrow thanks to skilled cooking skills. The prog meat and detoxifying green onions are well roasted and taste very good. Right arrow detoxifying green onions have detoxified the poison in prog meat. Right arrow special effect, comfortable underwater movement. Right arrow chef, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Right arrow expiration date, 5 days. Right arrow grade, C+. As Sejun was checking the options for the prog green onion rolls. Crown. Squawk. The exhausted Black Rabbit and Kyungi came out of the water from chasing progs. And crown. Squawk. The 2 hungry ones ate the prog green onion rolls and started bobbing in excitement. Should I try it too? Sejun also took a bite of the roasted prog. Chew. It tastes like chicken. The meat was soft, but the taste was just like unsalted chicken. Gulp. You have consumed prog green onion roll. Due to the special effect, comfortable underwater movement makes your underwater movements comfortable for 30 minutes. I should have brought some salt. Sejun felt a little regretful. Then, Grrrr, you can't do that. 5 black wolves came running, shouting. What's going on? Crown. Squawk. Sejun and the animals raised their weapons in caution against the black wolves. There's poison in prog meat. That's right, you need to vomit right away. The black wolves looked at them with worried expressions. Oh, thanks, but this one is detoxified. Do you want to try one too? Sejun said to the black wolves, while taking a bite of the prog green onion roll. As Sejun ate the 3rd prog green onion roll. Gulp. I'll just have one. Me too. Here. The black wolves got the prog green onion rolls from Sejun and ate them. And then, it says it makes moving in water comfortable. The black wolves were surprised to see the message that appeared after eating the prog green onion roll. In that case, in order to check the effect mentioned in the message, the black wolves jumped into the Zenka lake. If this was the case, they might be able to easily accomplish the tasks they had been working on. After a while, the black wolves, who had successfully hunted the progs, came up to the ground with the progs in their mouths. Awu! A black wolf called its comrades. Where's the good food? Tedada! The black wolves flocked to eat Sejun's dish. This is... Hejul couldn't continue his sentence while watching the spectacle unfolding at the Zenka lake. The wolves hunted the progs in the pond and brought them to a black-haired man, who then killed the progs. And the wolves, having received meat from the man, went back into the water. Then, Chief Hejul, Tribe Vice Chief Falca, ran up to him. Vice Chief Falca, what's happening? First, try eating this. Falca handed over the prog green onion roll he had been holding to Hejul. Chew. Oh, this meat is delicious. Hejul said while eating the prog green onion roll. It felt like the first time he was eating proper meat since he came here to do the mission. Gulp. And then a message appeared. Could it be? Is it because of this dish that our wolves are able to hunt the progs? Yes, thanks to that man's cooking, it seems like we will be able to successfully finish the mission. Falca pointed at Sejun. Is that so? Then I should thank him. Yes, let's go. Falca guided Hejul to Sejun. And then, Mr. Sejun, this is our Black Wolf Tribe's chief, Hejul. Sejun. Upon hearing Falca's words, Hejul's mind went blank. The prestigious name of the great black dragon Park Sejun, which Elka had told him. And the black dragon tattoo visible on Sejun's right hand back. That tattoo was only allowed to the black dragon's tribe. It's the great black dragon. I greet the great black dragon. Hejul quickly prostrated himself in front of Sejun. And then, we greet the great black dragon. The other black wolves also followed Hejul and prostrated themselves in front of Sejun. Yawn. Grrrr. Despite the loud shouts of the black wolves, the exhausted black rabbit and Kyungi did not care and took a nap. Meow. Theo, who had been inspecting the items in the warehouse, felt something strange. I feel Park Sejun's lap nearby. Meow. Even though it was incomprehensible, Theo believed in his ability to sense Sejun's lap. Yona, I have to go check it out. Meow. Theo quickly ran out of the warehouse. It's my victory. Yona raised the B-grade item she had found in the warehouse, claiming her victory. Who the real winner was would only be known as time passed. Chapter 76. TL Hanguk. When Theo suddenly came out of Israel's warehouse and started running. Representative Theo, where are you going? Elka also ran following Theo and asked. I feel President Park's lap nearby. Meow. What? It's in that direction, meow. It's getting closer, meow. Theo climbed onto Elka's head, grabbed her ears and shouted. Okay. Although Elka was puzzled by Theo's words about finding Sejun's lap, which should be on the 99th floor of the tower, Theo's voice was full of conviction. Hold on tight. For now, Elka ran in the direction Theo was pointing. Prague 1230-12291. About 1,000 left. As Sejun checked the number of remaining progs and muttered. Hey guys, Mr. Sejun says there are still about 1,000 progs left. Hurry and catch them. Hegel, who was next to him, was focusing on Sejun's every move and shouted to the black wolves. Yes. Squeak. Crown. Having found the joy of hunting in a group with the 300 black wolves, the black rabbit and the Kuingi responded together. Hunting progs by surrounding them from a distance was a new experience for the black rabbit and the Kuingi, who always hunted alone. The wolves brought the frogs they caught through group hunting to the surface and put them in front of Sejun. Thud. You have defeated the prog. You have earned 500 experience points. You leveled up. You earned 1 bonus stat. Sejun comfortably gained experience points and reached level 30. And a quest has been generated. Job quest, plant a new crop you have never planted before. Reward, level 31 unlock, 500 tower coins. A level 30 job quest appeared. A new crop I've never planted. Sejun looked at the quest and thought for a moment. All I have that. He dug the ground with his dagger, took out the pineapple crown he had saved after eating a pineapple, and planted it. You have planted a pineapple crown. Due to the effect of seed sowing LV. 4. The probability of the pineapple crown taking root increases. Due to the effect of seed sowing LV. 4. The probability of pest damage decreases slightly. Your job experience has increased slightly. Your proficiency of sowing LV. 4 slightly increases. Due to the effect of proficiency increase LV. 1. Your proficiency sowing LV. 4 has increased by an additional 5%. You have completed the quest. Level 31 has been unlocked as a quest completion reward. You have obtained 500 tower coins as a quest completion reward. Hehe, I got lucky with this quest. If he hadn't found the pineapple, he could have been in a situation where he couldn't level up until the seed shop opened. Fortunately, he completed the job quest right away this time, without losing a single experience point. While Sejun was again gaining experience by defeating the progs brought by the wolves. Rustle. There was a noise as the bushes shook. And then, I found you, meow. Something yellow sprang out from beyond the bushes. President Theo. Theo, who had arrived at Zenka Lake by using his lap detector at full power, jumped off Elka's back towards Sejun. Thud. Sejun caught the flying Theo with both hands. He was very warm and soft. President Park, nice to see you, meow. When did you get here, meow? Theo casually lifted his front paws and asked in greeting. What, President Theo, how did you know I was here? He had heard from Hegel that Theo was nearby, but he didn't expect him to come so early. I have my ways, meow. Theo sat proudly on Sejun's lap, claiming it for himself. And then, flick. He took out 2 contracts and handed them to Sejun. One was a contract with the Black Wolf tribe, and the other was a contract stating that he would receive 5,000 tower coins from Israel and Oren. Theo had calculated the value of his own life, the lives of the wolves and Iona, and demanded 25,000 tower coins from Israel and Oren as compensation. However, their assets were short by about 5,000 tower coins. Pay off the rest with your body, meow. Theo made Israel and Oren sign a contract to repay the remaining money through labor. Theo was good at applying what he learned from Sejun. Did I do well, meow? Yes, but did you pick 3 items from Israel's house? I haven't chosen them yet, meow. Theo answered while looking at Sejun's face, worrying he might be sent back. Is that so? Then pick them next time. After all of Israel's house and all the items in it had been transferred to Sejun through the contract. He could pick any time. I got it, meow. I'll pick next time, meow. Relieved by Sejun's words, Theo comfortably lay on Sejun's lap. And then, these is it. He fell asleep in no time. As the number of remaining progs decreased, the wolves' speed of bringing progs slowed down. And when the number of remaining frogs dropped below 100, the frogs scattered and hid, and the black wolves, the black rabbits, and Kuingi also dispersed to find the progs. As the boring search continued, the black rabbits and Kuingi began to explore Zenka Lake instead of looking for progs. Thud. Squeak. Crown. The black rabbits and Kuingi poured out the treasures they found in Zenka Lake in front of Sejun and bragged. Most of them were trinkets like rocks or bone fragments, but they were fascinating treasures that stimulated the imagination for the black rabbits and Kuingi. Wow, great, guys, go find more treasures. Squeak. Crown. Encouraged by Sejun, the black rabbits and Kuingi entered Zenka Lake with a determined mindset to find better treasures. A quest for the mid-level administrator has been generated. Haha, let's see what quest have been given to the interesting human. Aileen checked Sejun's quest. And then, HMPH, I don't like it. Aileen frowned after checking Sejun's quest. The quest reward was too pitiful. She had already forgotten the quest she had given to Sejun in the past. I have to ask Dad how to change the quest reward. Since Anton had taught Aileen how to sync with the black dragon statue through the orb, direct conversation was now possible. Dad. She called Anton through the black dragon statue. My granddaughter, have you been well? It was Kaiser who responded happily. Perhaps Anton was away at the moment. Yes, Grandpa, I have a question. Ha 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 ha, ask me anything. Grandpa will tell you everything. But Aileen, you missed your grandpa, right? Huh, yes, of course I missed you. Grandpa, can you teach me how to change the quest reward? Ha 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 ha, Grandpa missed you so much too, Aileen. You want to change the quest reward? Yes. What are you planning to give to that Sejun fellow this time? Recalling that Aileen's 100th birthday fountain had been handed over to Sejun as a quest reward, Kaiser's voice rose. However, Grandpa, are you mad at me? As Aileen's voice hardened. AHNO, how could I now? Let me explain in detail. The voice of Kaiser, the superpower of the Pratani family, changed to its original, no, softer than before. After learning about the method of changing quests for several hours from Kaiser. Change the reward. As she learned from Kaiser, she raised her hand over the quest window and began to change the quest reward with her will and mana. She raised the reward experience from 10,000 to 100 million and the tower coins from 1,000 to 10 million. The reward was increased 10,000 times. Aileen was quite generous. However, you cannot change the reward of the mid-level administrator's quest. The level of Tower Farmer Park Sejun is too low. Sejun's level was too low. Arg, then let's make it 1,000 times. Aileen removed a 0 and changed the quest reward again, but 1,000 times, 100 times, and even 10 times were too high for Sejun. Then 7 times. You cannot change the reward of the mid-level administrator's quest. The level of Tower Farmer Park Sejun is low. However, once she went below 10 times, the word 2 was removed. And then 5 times, 2 times, 1.5 times. Finally, the quest reward was changed. Hey, I wish the interesting human would get stronger quickly. Aileen was sad that she couldn't give more to Sejun, even though she wanted to. The reward for the mid-level administrator's quest has been changed from 10,000 experience to 15,000. The reward for the mid-level administrator's quest has been changed from 1,000 tower coins to 1,500. While the wolves were slowing down and catching the progs, and he was idly looking at the lake, Sejun, who had fallen asleep, woke up due to a sudden message that the quest reward had been changed. Did Aileen do something? To Sejun's knowledge, the only being capable of such a thing was ailing. Thus Sejun, who regained his senses, looked around. And then, what are all these? Sejun found a pile of miscellaneous items stacked almost 10 m high in front of him. The Black Rabbit and Kyungi had unknowingly gathered this much treasure. Should I check out what they've brought? Just as Sejun was about to examine if there was anything useful. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Yona flew over singing a song. She had come to finalize the contest with her victory, having received Theo's admission of defeat. Oh, it's Sejun, nice to see you. Realizing Sejun's presence a little late, Iona greeted him. But what is that? He asked about the transparent liquid in a glass bottle floating around Iona. Oh, this. It's a contract nullification potion that I found in Israel's warehouse. Contract nullification potion. Yes, if you spray it on a contract, you can nullify the contract. Is that so? Yes, take a look. Contract nullification potion. Right arrow, a potion that can nullify the agreement of a contract. Right arrow, when the contract nullification potion is sprinkled on the contract is nullified. Right arrow, it is impossible to nullify the contract if the party who proposed the contract has a high level or the contract has been in effect for more than 100 days. Right arrow grade B. So there's such a thing. He thought that once the contract was done in the tower, it would be final. Are there many such contract nullification potions? No, this is the first time I've seen it myself. At Iona's response, Sejun was relieved. Still, he thought he should prepare for the case of contract nullification in the future and check the contracts he had. As Sejun was checking the contracts, Representative Theo, wake up. Iona woke up Theo, lifting his eyelids. Meow, what meow? Jonah, I want to sleep more, meow. Then I won the contest, right? Meow. The contest to find better items, I won, right? At Iona's words, Theo's eyes snapped open. No, meow, victory is mine, meow. Theo jumped up and declared, feeling invincible while being on Sejun's lap. He believed he could never lose. Tweet, tweet, tweet. But I've already found a B-grade item, and then you haven't found anything yet. Iona spoke confidently of her victory. The contest is not over yet, meow. Theo shouted at Iona, focusing all his attention on his front paw. He was planning to find an item to beat Iona quickly. Then, zing! Theo felt a strong pull on his front paw. Pew hut, of course, I can't lose even if I want to, meow. Following the pull, plunk! Theo began to rummage through the pile of random items that the Black Rabbit and Kyungi had stacked, putting his paw in it. And then, got it, meow. Pew hut, Iona, the victory is mine, meow. Just as Theo pulled out an item he had grabbed from the pile of random items with his paw, confident of his victory. Thud. Meow. The pile of random items collapsed down onto Theo's head. Chapter 77, Returning. TL Hanguk. Theo. Sejun instinctively ran to protect Theo from the collapsing pile of junk. However, meow. Huh. Theo and Sejun's gazes crossed. Theo was quickly getting out of the falling pile of junk, passing Sejun, who was rushing towards him. Come to think of it, Theo's speed was incredibly fast. Who was worried about who? Sejun, the weakest one on the 99th floor of the tower, smiled sadly as he looked at Theo. President Park. Theo hurriedly stopped and called Sejun, but whoosh! The pile of junk began to engulf Sejun. Just then, Mr. Sejun. Mr. Sejun. Elka and Hejul jumped into the pile of junk and protected Sejun with their large bodies. Thud. At the same time, a giant gray rock of about 3 meters in size hit the wolves' bodies and fell to the ground. It seemed like something that Kyungi had brought. Sejun would have been in trouble if it weren't for the wolves. Hugh, Elka, Hejul, thanks. Sejun expressed his gratitude to the 2 giant wolves. No, it's an honor to be able to protect the great black dragon. I feel the same. The wolves wagged their tails, pleased with Sejun's praise. President Park, were you trying to save me just now, meow? Theo, moved by Sejun's attempt to save him, ran over and examined Sejun's body. Are you okay, meow? Are you hurt anywhere, meow? Especially focusing on his knees. I'm okay, but what were you trying to pull out? This right here, meow. Theo pointed at the giant rock and exclaimed. This rock? Yes, meow. I felt an incredible attraction I've never felt before in my life, meow. Really? Sejun, who knew Theo's golden front paw better than anyone, quickly got up and examined the rock. On the surface, it was just an ordinary rock, nothing special. Fragment of... Oh. This was different from the items so far. Even the name was a question mark. Iona, can you use some appraisal magic? Yes. Hurry up and do it, meow. This is my victory, meow. Tweet, tweet, tweet. You think you can beat me with such a rock? Iona scoffed at Theo and used appraisal magic on the rock. However, fragment of... Even Iona's appraisal magic didn't reveal any information about the item. Kaiwo. Iona, enraged that her magic did not work, angrily pulled out the staff of disaster from her back. And Eye of Truth. She used the highest tier appraisal magic. Flash. A bright light from Iona's staff seeped into the gray rock. Fragment of. The 9th fragment of. Divine power flows from it. Grade. This time there was a small change, but a change nonetheless. I'm sorry I couldn't be of more help, Mr. Sejun. This is my limit. Iona said, looking disappointed. That's okay. At least it doesn't seem like a cursed item, since it's emanating divine power. The fact that Iona couldn't identify the item through her abilities meant that this item was of an incredibly high grade. Sejun decided to be content with the fact that it had no curse for now. I'll have to ask Aileen to appraise it later. Sejun decided to take the rock to the 99th floor of the tower later for examination. Aileen, who was short on magic, couldn't see or send messages to anywhere outside the 99th floor with her crystal orb. A representative Theo I've lost. Iona admitted her defeat to Theo. The fact that the item's information wasn't fully revealed even with the use of the Eye of Truth was evidence that the rock was at least a legendary grade item. Pew hu hu hut. Iona, don't be too sad, meow. It's only natural that you can't beat me, meow. Now stamp it, meow. Theo proudly pulled out a contract with a triumphant look. Stamp. That's right, meow. The loser must listen to the winner's request, meow. Theo, nice. From behind, Sejun quietly gave a thumbs up, cheering for Theo. A moment later. President Park, here's the contract, meow. Theo handed Sejun a contract stamped with a cute hamster footprint, then confidently climbed onto Sejun's lap and lay down showing his belly. What are you doing, meow? Pet me, meow. When Sejun stayed still, Theo placed Sejun's hand on his belly and spoke. All right. As he had contributed, he decided to give a reward. Pad pad. Meow meow meow, I'm happy, meow. Just as Theo was about to fall asleep with Sejun's petting. Squeak. Crown. The black rabbit and Kyungi brought up new treasures. Theo, are you drawn to anything else? Sejun quietly asked with anticipation. Meow. Theo, lying down with his eyes closed, stretched out his forepaws and activated his detector. But there's nothing attracting me. They're all useless. Theo swung his forepaw as he spoke. Thud. Squeaka. Crown. Our treasures are useless. The black rabbit and Kyungi were shocked at Theo's words. Crown. Meow. Kyungi grabbed Theo's scruff and took him to their treasures. And Squeaka. Crown. You think this is useless? Listen carefully. The black rabbit and Kyungi began to explain their treasures in detail, sitting Theo between them. Oh, it's hot. Sejun, who had dozed off while watching Theo being lectured by the black rabbit and Kyungi, had to wake up due to the stifling heat. Before he knew it, Kyungi was behind Sejun, and Theo and the black rabbit were sleeping on his lap. Snore, snore. Huh. At first, he thought he had misheard Kyungi's snoring. But, snore, snore. There were 4 snoring sounds. When Sejun looked towards the sound, he found Iona sleeping there, using Theo's tail as a blanket. Now, even the chairman of the Wizards Association was entranced by Sejun's lap. As expected, Sejun's lap was popular with the animals. Do I have to sleep again? Sejun was about to close his eyes and try to sleep again, not wanting to disturb the soundly sleeping animals when... Excuse me. Someone called Sejun. Huh, when did you guys get here? It was the interns who had returned home with Theo's permission. There's nothing to do right now, so rest a bit. Yes, but there's something we need to discuss. Intern Bill hesitated to speak. What is it? Just a moment, guys, come out. Upon Bill's shout, whoosh! 30 cats, which had been waiting at a distance, ran over. Hello, we'll work hard in exchange for grilled fish. Grilled fish. The cats from the Grainier village, suffering from food shortages, followed the interns to find Sejun, hopping to earn grilled fish. Then, the cause for the extinction of the blue carp in the Zenka Lake on the 75th floor of the tower has been found. A second mid-level administrator quest has begun. Second mid-level administrator quest. Prevent the cats of Grainier village from hunting blue carp fish for a year. Rewards, 15,000 XP, 1,500 tower coins. Failure. Until the quest is completed, you cannot return to your original place. A new quest appeared. Theo, wake up. Sejun woke up the sleeping Theo. What is it, meow? I need you to get the contracts stamped. Sejun hired the cats for a year as guards to prevent them from hunting blue carp fish in Lake Zenka, in exchange for 3 grilled fish per day as a wage. And then, you have completed the second mid-level administrator quest. You received 15,000 XP as a reward for completing the second mid-level administrator quest. You received 1,500 tower coins as a reward for completing the second mid-level administrator quest. The second quest was completed. On the 249th day of being stranded, 3 days have passed since the hunting of progs. Progs 22432291. Where are the rest hiding? Sejun said, checking the remaining number of progs. Only 48 progs were left, but he couldn't find where they were hiding. A large-scale search had been launched since yesterday to find the remaining 48 progs, but it had been fruitless. However, there was another discovery. While searching for treasure, the black rabbit and Kyungi found a hiding place for blue carp fish, avoided by the progs. There were 10 blue fish left in the hiding place. For the time being, Sejun had the cats, hired as guards, take turns guarding the vicinity of the hiding place of the blue carp fish to prevent their extinction. While continuing the search for progs, Kyungi lifted a broad stone about 10 m in size from the bottom of the lake. Sejun had instructed Kyungi to bring up any suspicious rocks, as there might be other fragments on the lake bottom. Thud! As Kyungi lifted the broad stone. Hud! Ribbit, ribbit! Kyungi's eyes met those of the progs hiding under the rock. The progs had been hiding under the rock, which was why they had not been found. Kwang! Kyungi put the stone down and called the wolves nearby. Line up, meow. When mealtime came, Theo lined up the guards of Lake Zenka and distributed 3 grilled fish each. Having heard that the food situation in the Grainier village was currently poor, Sejun considered the families of the cats and decided to triple their wages for a while, providing 9 grilled fish per day. After all, the 99th floor pond was teeming with piranhas. However, the grilled fish that Theo brought was not enough, so the interns went to the 99th floor with the wolves to get piranhas. While Sejun was sitting on the fragment of and looking around, I found them. Splash! The wolves bustled and jumped into Lake Zenka. After a moment, splat! The wolves came out of the lake with frogs in their mouths one by one and stood in front of Sejun. And then, we found all 48 frogs. Hegel, representing the wolves, reported to Sejun. Well done, everyone gather around. Sejun called all the animals. Then when all the animals gathered, Sejun slaughtered the frogs. You have completed the mid-level administrator quest. You gained 15,000 experience points as a reward for completing the mid-level administrator quest. You gained 1,500 tower coins as a reward for completing the mid-level administrator quest. You have fulfilled your duty as a mid-level administrator. You will return to the 99th floor in 30 seconds. Kyungi, pick up the rock. Kyuang. At Sejun's command, Kyungi picked up the rock item with a flash. You guys did a good job. Sejun quickly exchanged greetings with the animals as he was about to return. Theo, take the interns and visit the 38th floor. Hegel, come to the 99th floor. Got it, Meow. I'll finish quickly and go, Meow. I'll also hurry and follow. Kaiwat, I'll come and see you soon too. When Iona spoke while looking at Sejun's knee. Iona, don't come, Meow. Theo yelled, wary of the newly appeared competitor. Kaiwat, I don't want to. It's my heart's decision. Swoosh. While the two were fighting, Sejun, the black rabbit, and Kyungi disappeared. The administrator area of the tower. Quaga, why hasn't that human come yet, even though it's been 3 days? Aileen, who couldn't know the situation of the 75th floor, was very frustrated not being able to get news about Sejun. K-Kick, did he get hurt somewhere? She was particularly worried about the weak Sejun getting hurt somewhere. Just when Aileen was worrying about Sejun, mid-level administrator Top Farmer Park Sejun has completed his mission, returning to the 99th floor of the tower. Hehe, the wonderful human is back. Aileen, now able to see Sejun again, was happy to see his return and looked at the 99th floor with the crystal orb. No, another unidentified item, it's dangerous. The human indeed can't do without me, hehe. Seeing the huge unidentified rock item that Kyungi had put down, Aileen smiled brightly. It was her time to shine. Hehe, I should show him the magnificent image of the great black dragon. Aileen, having seized the opportunity to show off, was about to speak to Sejun when the black dragon statue spoke first. Chapter 78, Discovering a Trace. TL Hanguk. You have arrived on the 99th floor of the tower. Home. Upon returning from the 75th floor of the tower, Sejun raised his arms and shouted. Squeak! Kriung! The black rabbit Kyungi also shouted following Sejun. It had only been 3 days since they left, but home felt very welcoming. Kriung! Kyungi asked Sejun what to do with the rock he was holding. It seemed he wanted to quickly put it down and go to his mother. Just put it down there. Kriung! Thud! Upon Sejun's words, Kyungi immediately smacked the rock down. Kriung! And dashed towards his mother, the crimson giant bear. Squeak! The black rabbit also rushed towards his family to inform them of his arrival. Shall I plant the pineapples first? The now alone Sejun took out 12 pineapple crows from his bag and planted them in the field. Then, he looked at the corrupted Ent's enhanced seed that was left alone in the corner of his bag. Enhanced seed of the corrupted Ent, purification rate 50%. If it receives the flame of purification one more time, it will be completely purified. While Sejun was looking at the seed, flap, flap, the black dragon statue flew towards him. Ha ha, Park Sejun, you incompetent fellow, you can't even appraise an item. Seeing the unappraised rock, Kaiser spoke in a proud voice. Ha ha, I Kaiser Pratani, the great black dragon, will specially appraise it for you. Kaiser took the lead without being asked, wanting to show off his grandeur. He also wanted to appear as a cool grandfather to Aileen, who was undoubtedly watching Sejun through the crystal orb. As the black dragon statue perched on the rock. Flash! A strong light exploded from the rock. Flash! The light exploded once more. Then, the tower's administrator is upset that their grandfather started appraising the item when she was about to do it. The tower's administrator asks you to tell their grandfather that she will not talk to him anymore. Aileen, who had her chance to shine taken away, was upset with Kaiser. Kaiser, Aileen says she won't talk to you anymore. What? Aileen, let's talk, come on, Aileen Tilda. While Kaiser was calling out to Aileen in desperation, Sejun checked the options of the now appraised rock. Fragment of the Divine Stone. Right arrow, it is the 9th fragment of the Divine Stone. Right arrow, divine power beneficial to the surroundings flows out of it. Right arrow, the more fragments you gather, the stronger the divine power becomes. Right arrow, grade S. Divine power beneficial to the surroundings. He closed his eyes and concentrated for a moment, but didn't feel much. The item's options seemed mediocre compared to its grade. But it's an S grade after all. Sejun decided to be satisfied with having an S-grade item in his front yard for now. He then looked around the farm to see if anything special had happened in his absence. That's when, Sejun spotted something that wasn't there before. A wooden pipe, made by splitting a tree and hollowing out the inside, was connected from the fountain to the field. The height of the fountain was 1 m, so the water inside the wooden pipe flowed from the fountain to the field according to the gradient. Oh, did the gray rabbits make a canal? Even without him, everyone was doing well. Sejun went around the farm to let the animals know that he was back and went down to the cave. He had to check the crops in the storage. Flamey, I'm back. When Sejun called out to Flamey, who was basking in the warm sunlight in the center of the cave. Master, welcome back. Flamey greeted Sejun in a lively voice. Were you well? Yes, Master, but is there something new outside? I've been feeling a warm energy permeating my body for a while, so I'm full of energy and feeling good. It seemed that the S-grade stone did have some effect. Ah, I'm happier to see the Master. The warm energy just made me feel better. The joy of seeing you is much bigger. Flamey emphasized again that he was glad to see Sejun, in case Sejun misunderstood. I see. Sejun stroked Flamey's leaves. It was speaking so cutely like that, he couldn't help but adore it. After conversing with Flamey, Sejun checked the crops in the storage and went to bed early. In front of the portal, connected to the Black Tower. Kaiser was sitting at the table with a serious look on his face, deep in thought. Did he have another fight with Aileen? Anton, who had gone out to take care of something, thought when he saw Kaiser with a serious expression. Father, what's the matter? It didn't seem like a big deal, but he asked just in case. Son, I've found a trace of the Creator God. What? Anton, who typically maintained a poker face and rarely showed his emotions, had his poker face broken by Kaiser's unexpected answer. Kuahaha, I knew you react like that. I was really surprised at first too. Kaiser laughed, looking at Anton's bewildered face. Where was the trace of the Creator God found? Anton asked excitedly. The Creator God was the being who created the towers they were managing. The dragons had been looking for traces of the Creator God for over 3,000 years. 3,000 years ago. You shall rebuild the world by finding my traces. The Creator God left those words and completely disappeared from the world. As a result, their world was destroyed. No, many worlds were destroyed. They wanted to know, why did the Creator God create the tower? Why did he entrust them with its management? The trace of the Creator God came out from the Black Tower we were managing. What? It's part of a stone. Park Sejun found it in a lake on the 75th floor of the tower. The tower? Anton was taken aback by Kaiser's words. They had been diligently searching for the traces of the Creator God outside, and it was inside the tower. It really was darkest under the lamp post one. If it's a stone, what was written on it? Nothing, absolutely nothing. What? The found stone was the end part, so there was no content. Oh, is Park Sejun safe? Anton asked hastily. It was a trace of the creator god after all. Just being near it could harm an ordinary being. Sejun was the one who could assist in treating Aileen's dragon heart. It was crucial that nothing bad happened to him. Ha, who am I? I am none other than the great Kaiser Pratani, the head of the great Pratani family. Kaiser started to talk about how he appraised the stone Sejun brought. The moment I started to appraising it, I could feel the divine power of the creator stirring inside the stone. And then, Anton swallowed and asked, I thought the moment the stone seal was lifted, Sejun and the others around him would die. So I quickly gave it a plausible name and discreetly resealed it. How's that for quick thinking? Ha. Kaiser bragged. Phew, you did well, father. Anton said with relief. He didn't like Kaiser's bragging, but he had to admit when something was worth acknowledging. Resealing an object containing the divine power of the creator was no easy task. If it hadn't been for Kaiser, it could have been a disaster. Son, there's something more important than that. What is it? Aileen doesn't want to talk to me, so could you mediate for us? Kaiser, who possesses tremendous power, found it nearly impossible to soothe his granddaughter's anger. And I have some urgent work to do. It was the same for Anton as well. Second floor of the tower. The land, which was close to a wasteland and exceeded 1,000 square meters, had turned green. And people were walking between the farms divided into 100 square meters each. Welcome to our Gagel's Experience Farm. The guide from Gagel welcomed the hunters. Really, if we just cut these, they'll give us experience like monsters. The hunter, a young man in his mid-20s armed with expensive gear, asked while looking at a squirming tomato plant. He had paid 100 million won to use the experience farm. Yes, this is a plant-type monster that we at Gagel accidentally discovered. Thanks to the efforts of our research team, we can now grow it in large quantities. Since the word mutant could create a negative perception, Gagel deceived even their employees, referring to the polluted tomatoes as plant-type monsters discovered in the tower. Mr. David, why don't you try cutting it? The guide pointed to the bottom of the tomato and spoke to David. Swish. David used his sword to cut the bottom of the tomato. It was cut smoothly and... You've killed the contaminated cherry tomato. You've earned 33 experience points. He gained experience points. Oh, it's real. Yes, now experience why this place is called an experience farm. The guide handed David a torch. Just burn everything. Great. Whoosh. David happily began to burn the contaminated cherry tomatoes at the guide's words. If he burned the entire 100 square meter area, he would accumulate about 5,000 to 7,000 experience points. Gagel was receiving 100 million won as a price for gaining experience from the 100 square meter farm, but wealthy hunters who wanted to accumulate experience safely and quickly were waiting to use Gagel's experience farm and were making reservations. How many days does it take for the crops to grow back? About a month would be sufficient. Thomas, expand the size of the farm by 100 times. Yes. Michael ordered Thomas while looking at the blazing farm. All right. Sejun opened his eyes and got up. His body felt so refreshed, maybe because he had slept well after a long time. Squeak. With the noise of Sejun getting up, the black rabbit came out of the wooden box house and greeted him. Yeah, good morning. Sejun got up and wrote on the bedroom wall with a stick. 250. It was the morning of the 250th day of being stranded. He planned to mark the date on the brick house wall in the future. Let's go out. As Sejun and the black rabbit came out, one by one, the rabbits were coming up to the ground from the cave. Squeaka. Squeaka. Right, good morning. Sejun greeted the rabbits. Breakfast was taken care of with sea pea soup, which had been boiling for 24 hours in steamed potatoes. And when Sejun was walking to the field to harvest the cherry tomatoes. Squeaka, squeaka. From behind, the cheerful screams of the rabbits were heard, and they quickly overtook Sejun in their wooden boat. Splash! The boat ridden by the rabbits splashed water onto Sejun as it passed. Huh! Is that a flume ride too? As the field became too wide, the rabbits were using boats on the canal as transportation to reduce the effort to move to the field. I'm envious. I was so jealous. I wish I had a fun ride. No, I meant transportation. Kruwang. Sejun wasn't the only one who was envious of the rabbits' means of transportation. Kruwang. Kyungi shouted as he watched the rabbits riding in the wooden boat. I want to ride too. Kruwang. Kyungi picked up a wooden plank and climbed up to the fountain in high spirits, placed the wooden plank on the water canal, and sat on it. But, Kreeka, the pillars of the canal, which were not designed with the possibility of Kyungi climbing up on them in mind, couldn't bear his weight. Bang! As soon as Kyungi sat down, the wooden pillars broke like twigs, and a major accident occurred with the wooden pipe collapsing on the spot. Kruwang. When Kyungi, who fell with the wooden pipes, was looking at the broken canal with a desolate expression. Pat, it's okay. Sejun patted Kyungi's head and comforted him. Kruwang, I want to ride the boat too. Don't worry, I'll give you a ride. Thanks to Kyungi, Sejun got a chance to rebuild the canal. Guys, gather around. Sejun called the gray rabbit and the black minotaur, and started a grand construction project to build a new, sturdy canal. TL notes. 1. It refers to how people tend to neglect what is right under their nose. They are often too consumed by what is happening far away than concerned about what is right in front of them. 2. Flume rides. Chapter 79. TL Hanguk. Sejun decided to make a proper canal since he was at it. And, okay, first, we're going to raise the fountain so we can stack bricks underneath. As the first construction task, he decided to raise the height of the fountain where the flow of water started. Because the the acceleration when going down would allow the water to be sent further away. However, to do that, he had to lift a giant fountain with a diameter of 100 meters first. I need the help of Kaiser or Anton. Sejun spoke to the black dragon statue. What is it? The hoarse voice of the annoyed Kaiser came. It's a relief. Honestly, it was easier to talk to Kaiser than Anton. For Sejun, there was a sure win card to get Kaiser's help easily. Sir Kaiser, don't you want to talk to Aileen? Insolent Sejun, how dare you think the great black dragon, Kaiser Pratani, would ask you for help? Kaiser's furious voice came in response to Sejun's words. That's not it. I have a favor to ask, and if you do it, I will solve the problem that bothers you, Sir Kaiser, on my own. Is that so? Then let's hear what you have to ask. Although it was a sly trick, but it worked on Kaiser. Could you lift the fountain, please? Hahatha, all right. Kreeka. As soon as Kaiser's voice ended, the fountain rose about 10 meters in the air. All right, let's start the work. Yumo. At Sejun's command, the black minotaurs began stacking mud bricks. And, Aileen. Sejun called out to Aileen to solve Kaiser's problem. The tower's administrator asks what's the matter. How about we have some honey jelly and talk? First, he improved Aileen's mood with sweet food. The tower's administrator is pleased with the sweetness of the honey jelly. So Sejun made Aileen's mood better and started to discuss the main topic. Aileen, could you please start talking to Sir Kaiser now? The tower's administrator says she's still upset with grandfather for taking her chance to shine. Aileen, why do you want to shine by appraising items? The tower's administrator says it's to show you her greatness. Then you don't need to shine. The tower's administrator asks what you mean. Because I already know how great you, Aileen, are. Aileen. Aileen disappeared again. However, Sediohatha. Judging by Kaiser's laughter, it seemed like Aileen was talking with Kaiser. Pad, pad, pad. Run faster, meow. Theo was urging his companions. He was in a great hurry. I need to finish the trade and get back to Sejun, meow. Sejun's lap was in danger. At first Iona, who seemed indifferent, letting him let his guard down. Eventually she occupied Sejun's lap. Iona is a cunning hamster wizard, meow. Thinking about Iona on Sejun's lap when he woke up, Theo got angry again. And I can't forgive this, meow. Speed up, meow. Theo's speed increased as much as his anger. Huff huff, Representative Theo. Let's take a break. Only the interns were exhausted because of that. Under Theo's lead, the group ran nonstop towards the 38th floor of the tower. Sejun, who soothed Aileen, who was upset with Kaiser, helped the gray rabbits and plastered mud between the mud bricks piled up by the black minotaurs. As such, it was almost lunchtime by the time they finished laying a layer of bricks. I should prepare lunch. When Sejun went to the cave to get the ingredients for lunch. Master, I missed you. Flamey greeted Sejun enthusiastically by waving its leaves. More than half of Flamey's leaves, which used the flames of purification and protection, had turned green again. Thanks to the divine power emanating from the divine stone, Flamey's leaves seemed to recover faster. Sejun patted Flamey's leaves and went to the pond. In the pond, there were hundreds of piranhas hunted by Black Rabbit and Kyungi. They had been catching more piranhas as they had to give grilled fish as a daily ration to the guards, who protect the blue carp of Grainier Village on the 75th floor of the tower. Just then, splash! Kryuang! Kyungi came out of the water with a giant fish. And then, thump thump thump! Black Rabbit was busy hitting the head of the giant fish. Well, Sejun was speechless when he saw the name of the underwater monster. Tuna. Clab, clab, clab. Guys, well done. Sejun applauded and praised Black Rabbit and Kyungi. A little while later. Let's eat. When mealtime came. Munch, munch. The black minotaurs moved to the green onion field to eat green onion leaves and gulp. Mother Crimson Giant Bear drank CP soup in the large pot. And then, today's lunch is tuna sashimi. Sejun began to cut up the tuna and make sashimi. However, Sejun, who had only ever eaten tuna sushi once, didn't have the skill to slice different parts of the fish for sashimi, so he just thinly sliced the thickest belly part. Let taste it. When Sejun put the red tuna sashimi in his mouth, he felt a deep oily flavor. Swish! The tuna sashimi melted in his mouth before Sejun could fully savor it. Well, all the animals were staring at him. Was it that delicious? As Sejun hurriedly started to slice the area where he had eaten. He wanted to share the joy he felt with the animals. Here you go. Sejun put 2 pieces of sashimi on a wooden plate and gave it to the animals. Squeaka, squeaka, squeaka. Crowing. The animals' reaction to eating tuna sashimi was excellent. Good, next, let's go for the back meat. Feeling confident, Sejun, who felt like he had become a sushi chef, sliced the back meat of the tuna this time. Squeaka, squeaka, squeaka. Crowing. Again, the reaction was good. Next is the tail meat. The side rib meat. The head meat. Sejun, who didn't know much about sashimi, picked up pieces of sashimi at random and gave them to the animals. However, squeaka, squeaka, squeaka. As they kept eating only tuna, the reaction of the animals gradually weakened due to the greasiness of the tuna. Crowing. Except for Kyungi. Grrr. Kyungi was shoveling sashimi into his mouth, asking if it was okay to eat when the rabbits next to him were not eating. Thus, the tuna was left with almost only bones. Smack, smack. Except for Kyungi, who was still trying to satisfy his appetite, everyone else was patting their stomachs and seemed satisfied with their fullness. It's too greasy. After eating something so oily, he wanted something refreshing, and he had saved something for times like this. Let's eat pineapple. Sejun brought out 5 cans of pineapple from the storage. He had saved these pineapples to eat with the rabbits, and even though the pineapple crown had been taken off, it was still fresh because Iona had put preservation magic on it. Squeak. Crowung. The black rabbit and Kyungi, who had already tasted pineapple before, were excited. They instinctively knew that it would be great to eat it now. And then, squeak, squeak. Following the reactions of the black rabbit and Kyungi, the other rabbits also began to become curious. Slice, slice. As Sejun put a piece of pineapple on each plate. Squeak. The eyes of the rabbits who had eaten the pineapple widened. The sour taste of the pineapple neatly washed away the lingering oil in their mouths, followed by a sweet taste. Squawk, squawk. The rabbits quickly ate all the pineapple and licked the pineapple juice off their hands cleanly. After such a perfect lunch had ended, and about 2 hours had passed. Sir Sejun, we have arrived. Borari, who had delivered the sturdy blade onion leaves and sea peas soup to the 67th floor of the tower, and returned after collecting the corpse of the red locusts, greeted Sejun. You've worked hard. How is the 67th floor? We initially struggled when the pattern of the red locusts changed, but it has stabilized again, with the lizardmen warriors being reinforced from the lizardmen kingdom on the 69th floor. That's good to hear, but why are those like that? Sejun asked, looking at the bodies of the dead red locusts pouring out of the cat interns' carts. Many of the dead red locusts had a mixture of blue in their head area. I'm not sure. The red locusts have been changing like that recently. Borori replied, tilting his head. At that moment, that's the red locust regressing to a blue locust. It's evidence that the population of red locusts is nearing 5 billion. The black dragon statue, which had come down to the ground unnoticed, spoke as it looked at the corpse of the red locust with a mix of blue. Regressing. Yes, they regress when their numbers decrease and evolve when they increase. So if their numbers decrease further, will they regress again? That's right. If the number drops below 3 billion, they transform into yellow locusts. Just hold on a little longer. It'll be easier to fight. When they regress to blue locusts, they become smaller and weaker. I see. Aileen, did you know this? Kaiser asked Aileen. What, you didn't know? Didn't I tell you to pay attention to the alarm? Kaiser began to scold Aileen for not knowing this information in advance. But I didn't shout. Aileen Tilda. The tower's administrator says she's upset because her grandfather yelled at her, and she won't talk to him anymore. It hasn't been an hour since Sejun made them reconcile, and their conversation was cut off again. Borari, once you go down, pass on the information you just heard to the lizardman warrior. It will be helpful. Yes, I understand. After finishing his conversation with Borori, Sejun began to stack bricks again. His goal was to stack the bricks up to 10 layers within 5 days. We've arrived, meow. Theo arrived on the 38th floor of the tower after 35 hours. The wolves rest and the interns follow me, meow. Yes. The cat interns replied with almost dying voices. If the wolves hadn't carried the interns in the middle, they wouldn't have been able to come this far. You guys don't know much yet. Just watch for today, meow. Theo arrived at the hunter's camp, cautioning the cat interns. This is the place that I created, and only I trade, meow. Theo entered the camp with pride, boasting to the interns. Then, Theo noticed something strange. Wild boar wandering merchants were trading with hunters at his trading post. What, meow? Theo was furious at the wild boar, wandering merchants who had invaded his territory. And, out of the way, meow. Theo went up to the leader of the wild boar, wandering merchants, and shouted, Who are you? I'm Theo, a intermediate wandering merchant, meow, and this is my trading post, meow. Move aside, meow. HMPH, You're just an intermediate wandering merchant. I am Utada, an advanced wandering merchant under the leadership of Tarek, an elite wandering merchant. Just go away. Utada dismissively responded to Theo's words. This was a place where hunters had made their own camp and a market had formed. Such places were rare, so Utada had no intention of leaving. Did you just ignore me, Meow? Theo was furious that someone would ignore him, the subordinate of the great black dragon and the deadly yellow cat. However, he didn't solve it with strength. A wandering merchant fights in a wandering merchant's way. And then, attention, humans. From today, I will not sell my goods to any hunter who trades with this wild boar wandering merchant, Meow. Theo knew exactly what his weapon was. Theo's weapon was Sejun's crops, which couldn't be found anywhere else and had special effects. Puahaha, even if you do, it's only your loss. My goods are. Utada, who was laughing at Theo's words, was taken aback when he saw the hunters who had been trading with him suddenly stop and leave en masse at Theo's words. Puhuhutsi, Meow. This is my area, Meow. Get lost, Meow. Theo looked at Utada and laughed. Chapter 80. TL Hanguk. In the conference room of Gagel. Due to the drought in the Asian continent and the locust outbreak in Africa, the crop yield is expected to decrease by about 15% compared to last year. As soon as the report on this year's food production forecast ended, raise the food prices by 20% this year. Vice Chairman, how is the Tower Farm project progressing? William McLaren, the chairman of the massive food corporation Gagel, who easily raised the world's food prices by 20%, asked his son and vice chairman Michael. Unfortunately, there are no results in terms of food production yet. The atmosphere in the conference room quickly chilled at Michael's too confident statement about having no results. The executives in the room kept quiet, watching William's reaction. Gagel's chairman William was not the type to let his son off easy. Rather, he demanded more results to prove his worthiness to succeed him. So, are you saying there's progress in areas other than food production? Yes, fortunately, we found a way to increase revenue sooner than expected. Please look at the screen. As Michael signaled to his secretary, the prepared secretary connected a USB to her laptop and displayed the data. We've had unexpected results in our research on the magical cherry, tomatoes sold in the tower. Unexpected results? Yes. Michael explained that they planted the mutated contaminated cherry tomatoes on the second floor as a trial for an experienced farm, and was in the process of expanding the farm tenfold. So you're saying that it grows well just by planting, and if you eliminate it, it gives experience. What's the growing period? 1 month, and I request a budget to expand the experience farm by 10 times. Michael planned to clear out dozens of skeleton graveyards on the second floor of the tower to expand the experience farm. Good, I'll increase the budget for the tower farm project tenfold, so do your best. Yes, thank you. At William's full support, Michael bowed 90 degrees and said, with the budget increasing tenfold, the current scale of the experience farm could be expanded up to 1,000 times. Once the experience farm is completed in a few months, it would bring in billions of dollars a day. This damn cat Kuiak. Utada, who felt insulted by Theo, roared in anger. He couldn't just let it slide being humiliated by an intermediate wandering merchant. Kuiak, Kuiak. At Utada's roar, 4 subordinate wild boar wandering merchants pulled out huge axes from their bags. The Boer tribe was known for its superior strength and for not hearing free mercenaries among wandering merchants. However, Puhuhut, taking out your axe means you're admitting defeat as a wandering merchant, Meow. Theo, who knew nothing about it, fearlessly mocked the Boers, and more than anything, Theo had an absolute belief. Park Sejun's lap will protect me, Meow. It was a strange belief, but what is this? Why is he so confident? At Theo's attitude, Utada felt anxious that there might be something more to him. What are you? So Utada asked Theo's identity. As if he were tapping a stone bridge one, it seemed like there might be a hidden identity. Phew Hugh Hut. If you're asking for my identity, it is only polite to answer meow. Listen well, I am the Great Black. Just as Theo was about to introduce himself with a villainous grin, like a final boss. Representative Theo. Elka and the wolves appeared, interrupting Theo's words. Intern Bill had called the wolves as a precaution. Grrrr. The wolves stood in front of Theo, baring their sharp teeth at Utada and the other wild boars. Silver Wolf Tribe. Utada was startled as he looked at the silver wolves blocking his path. According to their knowledge, the Silver Wolf Tribe's mercenaries should be pursuing Straw Hat on behalf of Lord Grid. Silver Wolves, aren't you in the middle of carrying out the order of our tribe elder, Lord Grid? Don't be hostile to us. The request has been cancelled. What? You're canceling the contract? It wasn't an official contract to begin with. Step back. If you continue to be hostile to Representative Theo, we will attack. QEX Silver Wolves, you will regret this day, and you watch out. Utada and the wild boars glared at Theo and the wolves before gathering their things and leaving. My introduction was interrupted. Representative Theo, I called the wolves. Intern Bill, failing to read the atmosphere, told Theo of his merits. Intern Bill believed his contract period would be reduced even more, but I'll restore all the reduced contract time for Intern Bill. What? Intern Bill had to pay the price for stealing Theo's self-introduction opportunity. It backfired. Plop. Theo, ignoring the shocked Intern Bill, climbed onto Elka's back. Then, today I'm going to auction 5,000 C-grade magical cherry tomatoes, 5,000 C-grade power sweet potatoes, and finally, 10,000 D-grade detoxifying green onions, 500 each, meow. Theo shouted out to the hunters. Thanks to the upgrades of Theo's bag space and the intern's bags, the quantity of crops available for sale had greatly increased. Power sweet potato. When the hunters were stirred by the appearance of the new crop. Let's start the auction with 500 magical cherry tomatoes, meow. Theo announced the start of the auction. 750 tower coins for 500. Magical cherry tomatoes had now reached a somewhat stable price as the supply continued to increase, selling for about 1.7 tower coins each due to the 2,000 unit reduction from the previous auction. The power sweet potatoes, on the other hand, received a lukewarm response. 500 tower coins for 500. The effect of increasing strength by 0.5 was popular among warriors who valued the strength stat, but it was due to the effect when consumed by a non-awakened person. It stimulates bowel movements. Stimulating bowel movements could only cure constipation. It was too wasteful to spend hundreds of thousands of one for constipation. Thus, all the power sweet potatoes were sold to warriors at about 1 tower coin each. Now I'll sell the detoxifying green onions, meow. 3,500 tower coins for 500. 3,600 tower coins for 500. Detoxifying green onions were the most popular. Ever since it became known that terminal liver cancer patients were 100% cured after eating detoxifying green onions, more and more liver cancer patients were spending money to buy them. It sold out, meow. Total sales amount 824,630 tower coins. This auction was another huge success. The detoxifying green onions were sold at an average of about 80 tower coins each, pulling in the majority of the sales. And then it was photo time. Humans line up, meow. Theo, who needed to quickly return to Sejun's lap but couldn't give up on Churu, hurriedly took photos. You guys take some photos too, meow. Theo brought in the interns to shorten photo time. After finishing photo time, Theo said, "See you next time, meow." Theo hurriedly took his group and ascended to the 99th floor of the tower. Han Taejun and the Black Wolf Gang had long been forgotten in Theo's mind. Day 253 of being stranded. It's complete, Sejun said, looking up at the brick tower that he had stacked up to the 10 layers. The construction finished 2 days earlier than planned. It was all thanks to Kaiser. Park Sejun, don't you have anything to ask me? Unable to bear being blocked by Aileen, Kaiser forced a favor on Sejun. He hoped that if he fulfilled Sejun's request, Sejun would intervene and appease Aileen's anger. In response to Kaiser's insistence, Sejun asked for the completion of the brick tower, and Kaiser completed the brick tower quickly. And Sejun removed Kaiser from Aileen's block list. It probably won't last long. As for Sejun, it wasn't too bad since he could get Kaiser's help again. Once the fountain tower was completed, Squeak, the gray rabbits, with the help of the black minotaurs, started building a canal. This time, they paid attention to reinforcing the pillars to make a sturdy canal that could withstand Kyungi's weight. During the canal construction, Snip, you have simultaneously harvested 9 well-ripened magical cherry tomatoes. Your job experience increases greatly. Your proficiency in harvesting LV4 has increased greatly. Due to the effect of proficiency increase LV1, your proficiency in harvesting LV4 has increased by an additional 5%. You gained 270 experience points. Sejun was harvesting cherry tomatoes. Then, Kryuwang. Kyungi approached Sejun with a log. And Kryuwang. Screech. With its 2 front paws, it lightly split the log in 2 and started digging a hole in the middle. Boom, boom. After Kyungi scratched the log with its paw a few times, 2 holes were quickly formed. Kryuwang. Kyungi sat in the front hole and called Sejun to the back. It seemed like a 2-person boat. What a cute little guy. Sejun smiled fondly as he looked at Kyungi. Kryuwang. Kyungi rushed Sejun, hurry up and get on. All right. Sejun pretended to give in to Kyungi's rush and got on Kyungi's boat. Oh. He hadn't noticed from the outside, but inside there was even space to stretch out his legs. It was quite an ergonomic boat. Then, Krung. The mother crimson giant bear lifted Kyungi's boat onto the fountain. It seemed like she was saying they should play in the water. However, Kryuwang. Kyungi shook its body in excitement as his boat floated and moved on the water. Hug. Drip. The Kyungi boat moved towards the canal connected to the fountain, and the boat entered in the canal. Kyungi, stop. Sejun's face turned pale. The canal construction had just started today. Naturally, the canal was in an incomplete state. He could see where the canal was cut off up ahead. The thrill he wanted was not this. Kryuwang. Kyungi stopped at Sejun's words, but tumble. It was too late. Kyungi's boat began to accelerate along the canal. Swoosh. No. Leaving Sejun's cries behind, Kyungi's boat raced swiftly along the canal. And Wung. After racing through the short canal, Kyungi's boat started free-falling from a height of 9 m after flying for 3 seconds. Kryuwang. Just before Kyungi's boat hit the ground. Kryuwang. Fortunately, the mother crimson giant bear caught Kyungi's boat. Phew. Sejun breathed a sigh of relief and decided to seal Kyungi's boat for a while. The office of the chairman of the Wizards Association on the 66th floor of the tower. Kaiwat. Yona was humming a song and packing her belongings. Plop plop. She used telekinesis magic to put her bed, desk, and books in the office into her pocket dimension. Then, knock. Someone knocked on the door. Come in. Creak. Chachu. At Yona's words, the door opened, and a white rabbit wearing large glasses that covered half of its face and a red ribbon on its ear came into the room and greeted her. It was Chachu, Iona's disciple, who was the princess of the now-fallen Red Ribbon Kingdom. Chachu, did you take care of the people I brought properly? Squeaka. At Iona's question, Chachu nodded in response. Sejun had taken Israel and Oren to Iona, judging them to be dangerous to Theo, and Iona had sent them to the Mana Stone mine run by the Wizards Association. Chachu, you should pack your things too. We're going to the 99th floor together. Your people live there, so you'll like it too. Squeak. At Iona's words, Chachu hurriedly ran to her room to pack her belongings. A little later, Kaiwat, let's go now. Squeak. Iona took her disciple and set off for the 99th floor of the tower. And run faster, meow. Theo, who intuitively sensed the departure of his competitor, urged the wolves to move faster. TL notes. 1. It's a Korean proverb that advises being cautious and careful.